In the golden, wind-swept heart of ancient Persia, there lived a humble and hard-working woodcutter named Alibaba, who struggled every single day to provide a meager living for his beloved wife and children. One fateful morning, while he was deep within the shadows of a dense and ancient forest gathering dry wood, he suddenly felt the ground tremble beneath his feet and saw a massive cloud of dust rising on the horizon. Terrified that a band of lawless marauders was approaching, he frantically scrambled up the gnarled branches of a thick, leafy tree, pressing his body against the bark to remain invisible within the dense green canopy. From his hidden vantage point, he watched in breathless silence as 40 fierce and heavily armed men, mounted on powerful stallions, came to a halt before a towering, unnaturally smooth limestone cliff. The captain of the thieves, a man with a scarred face and eyes as cold as flint, stepped forward with an air of absolute authority, raised his silver-hilted sword, and thundered, "Open, Sesame!" To Alibaba's utter bewilderment, the massive, solid rock face groaned as if awakening from a long slumber and slowly split apart, revealing a shimmering, enchanted passage leading into the very soul of the mountain. He remained as motionless as a statue, his heart drumming against his ribs like a trapped bird, as he watched the 40 thieves carry heavy, overflowing sacks of plundered treasure into the darkness of the cave. After a long and agonizing wait, the thieves finally emerged from the mountain with empty hands and satisfied grins, and with a short command from their leader, the great stone door rumbled shut, sealing perfectly. Only when the echoes of the galloping horses had completely faded into the stillness of the afternoon did Alibaba dare to climb down, his legs shaking uncontrollably as he approached the mysterious, silent wall. With a voice that was barely a rhythmic whisper, he nervously repeated the enchanted words that had been etched into his memory, "Open, Sesame," and watched in awe as the mountain transformed once again. Stepping cautiously inside, he found himself in a vast, vaulted cavern overflowing with glittering mountains of gold coins, rare crystalline jewels, and endless bolts of the finest silks and tapestries from across the world. He realized with a heavy heart that this was the secret storehouse for decades of violent crimes, and he decided to take only a few small bags of gold coins, just enough to rescue his family from the grip of poverty. He hurried home under the protective cover of a starlit dusk to show his wife the unexpected fortune. But the secret was soon uncovered by his elder brother, Cassim, a man whose heart was consumed by insatiable greed, driven by a dark jealousy. Cassim cornered Alibaba in the dead of night and used threats of exposure to force him into revealing the exact location of the forest cave and the secret incantation required to enter. At the very first light of dawn, the ambitious Cassim set out with a train of 10 sturdy donkeys and dozens of large, empty chests, his mind swirling with intoxicating visions of becoming the wealthiest man in all of Persia. He gained entry to the magical cave with ease, but his overwhelming lust for the glittering treasure clouded his fragile memory, and when it came time to depart, the crucial magic words vanished from his mind like smoke. In a state of mounting panic, he shouted, "Open, barley, and open, wheat," his voice growing increasingly shrill and desperate. But the cold, indifferent stone door remained firmly shut, trapping him in his own tomb of gold. When the 40 thieves eventually returned to their lair and discovered the trembling intruder among their stolen riches, they showed him no mercy, striking him down to ensure that their secret would remain hidden from the world. When his brother failed to return home by nightfall, a worried Alibaba ventured back into the dark forest and was devastated to discover the tragic fate that had befallen Cassim inside the cold, silent cavern. With the assistance of Morgiana, a young servant girl renowned for her incredible intelligence and unwavering loyalty, they devised a brilliant and complex plan to bring Cassim home and bury him without raising any public suspicion. When the thieves later returned to their hideout and found the body missing, a chill went through the group as they realized that another person in the village must possess the secret knowledge of their hidden mountain lair. The captain, burning with a cold and calculating desire for vengeance, disguised himself as a humble traveling oil merchant and began a meticulous house-to-house search through the narrow, winding streets of the nearby town. He eventually tracked down Alibaba's modest home and arrived at the gate with 39 massive clay jars, claiming to everyone that he was merely a weary trader carrying expensive oil for the bustling local market. Alibaba, possessing a soul of pure kindness and hospitality, welcomed the suspicious stranger into his courtyard with open arms, offering him a warm, home-cooked meal and a comfortable place to rest his weary head. However, hidden within the dark bellies of 38 of those cold clay jars were the remaining thieves, armed to the teeth and waiting for a specific signal from their captain to leap out and slaughter the household. Late that night, while the rest of the house was draped in a heavy silence, the diligent Morgiana went out to the courtyard to find oil for a flickering lamp and was startled to hear a muffled, rhythmic breathing. Realizing instantly the grave and mortal danger her master was in, she didn't panic, but instead quietly began to heat a giant cauldron of oil over a roaring fire until it was bubbling and searingly hot. With nerves as strong as iron, she moved from jar to jar, pouring the boiling oil into each one and neutralizing the entire band of thieves before they ever had the chance to draw their wicked blades. The captain later crept down to the courtyard in the moonlight to signal his men, but he was met with a terrifying absolute silence and was horrified to discover that every single one of his followers was gone. Overcome by a mixture of fear and blinding rage, he scaled the high garden wall and vanished into the shadows of the night. But he spent every waking moment after that meticulously planning a final, bloody revenge. Many months passed until the captain returned to the village under yet another identity, this time posing as a wealthy and sophisticated silk merchant, hoping to get close enough to Alibaba to strike a fatal blow. Alibaba, still entirely unaware of the merchant's true and deadly identity, felt honored by the attention and invited the man to a grand celebration, treating him as a most distinguished and respected guest of the house. But the watchful Morgiana, who never truly lowered her guard, recognized the wicked, predatory glint in the merchant's eyes and noticed a sharp, curved dagger concealed deep within the folds of his expensive silk robes. To protect her master and his family once again, she donned a beautiful, shimmering costume and requested permission to perform a mesmerizing and traditional sword dance for the entertainment of the assembled guests. As she spun in elegant, rapid circles, the silver blade of her sword caught the orange glow of the candlelight, weaving a hypnotic pattern that drew the captain's attention away from his own murderous intentions. In one swift, graceful, and decisive motion, Morgiana lunged forward through the air and struck a fatal blow directly into the captain's heart, ending his long reign of terror and blood once and for all. Alibaba was initially horrified by the sudden violence, but when Morgiana pulled back the merchant's robe to reveal the hidden weapon, he fell to his knees, weeping with gratitude for her incredible bravery and wisdom. To honor her unmatched loyalty and her sharp, protective mind, Alibaba officially granted Morgiana her freedom and joyfully gave his fatherly blessing for her to marry his beloved son. In a magnificent, week-long ceremony, they decided to use the vast wealth remaining in the secret cave wisely and generously, sharing the gold with the poor and the elderly, ensuring that no one in their entire village would ever suffer from hunger again. And so, the legendary tale of Alibaba's kindness and the cleverness of the brave Morgiana was passed down through countless generations, serving as a timeless reminder that wisdom and virtue will always triumph over greed.